Hey Truth Seeker, welcome back. Zach here. In this video, I aim to show the world that Anne Frank, The Diary of a Young Girl, is complete propaganda written by the Zionists, the false Jews, as referenced as the Synagogue of Satan in the book of Revelation, the final book of the Bible. Let us begin with the Jewish gematria of the name Anne Frank, which sums to 223. This is the number of the Synagogue of Satan. This number is quoted all over history, in propaganda, in assassinations, in major Western government accomplishments, and more. On my video blog, I have a wealth of information about this number. Notice also that the word Masonic has gematria of 223 in Jewish gematria, just like Anne Frank, the number that ties back to the Synagogue of Satan. Of course, Anne Frank is the diary of a young girl who supposedly had to hide throughout World War II. Her diary retells the atrocities that the Jewish people supposedly had to undergo during the Nazi takeover of much of Europe. We in the mainstream have been lied to about World War II and also about World War I because the truth is those wars were organized by the Zionists for a planned agenda, an agenda of establishing their Zionist state in modern-day Israel. If you listen to Orthodox Jews speak, they speak out against the Zionists and talk about how the state of Israel is an affront, an insult to Judaism. The Zionist Jews are the false Jews. They have hijacked Judaism. They have hijacked the symbol, the Star of David. And through all their hijacking, they have coded their arrogant numbers, the numbers that reveal their wrongdoing. Anne Frank is said to have been born June 12, 1929. Her date of death is not known. This year, in fact, they said her date of death has been pushed up a month based on new research. Anyhow, this date has some very interesting numerology. June 12, 1929 has a life lesson number of 39. There are 39 books in the Old Testament which the Jews go by. 39 is a major number of importance to the Zionists. We'll talk more on this number. The name Anne Frank in Pythagorean gematria equals 39. This date also has a numerology of 66. The 66th book of the Bible is Revelation, where the false Jews, the Synagogue of Satan, are referenced. It's also a number connecting to many other important things, such as manifest destiny. And what the Zionists are doing in this world is a perfect example of manifest destiny. This number is also coded all over the United States of America, which is another Zionist Synagogue of Satan creation. This date also has a numerology of 47, which is the year that Anne Frank, Diary of a Young Girl, was published. In 1947, the same year the United Nations, a Zionist front, recognized Israel as a state. That happened on November 29th, 1947. Notice the gematria of Star of David, Truth Seeker. In simple English gematria, it sums to 119, reminding us of the date September 11th. On September 11th, Mossad agents were in New Jersey filming the attack. They were sent back to Israel by the United States. There they went on their television and admitted they were in the United States to document the attack. Israel, the Synagogue of Satan, is responsible for so much wrongdoing in this world. Their numbers are coded on acts of tragedy again and again. Star of David in Pythagorean gematria sums to 47, like the year Anne Frank, Diary of a Young Girl, was published. Let's just read a little bit from the supposed story, from the propaganda. The Frank family moved from Germany to Amsterdam in 1933, the year the Nazis gained control over Germany. By May 1940, they were trapped in Amsterdam by the German occupation of the Netherlands. As persecutions of the Jewish population increased in July 1942, The family went into hiding in some concealed rooms behind a bookcase in the building where Anne's father worked. In early August 1944, the group was betrayed and transported to concentration camps. Anne Frank and her sister, Margaret Frank, were eventually transferred to the Bergen-Belsen concentration camp, where they died probably of typhus. In February of March 1945, just weeks before the game, the camp was liberated in April. So with regards to 33, Truth Seeker, the entire story of World War II is by the numbers. And who does this are the Zionists. They code everything with this secret language of gematria. The Nazis took over in 33. That's funny because Nazis has gematria of 33. Berlin is where they came to power. Berlin equals 33. The worst act of destruction in all of World War II, even worse than Hiroshima and Nagasaki, was in Dresden, which has gematria of 33 as well as 42. Hiroshima bombing took place on a date with 33 numerology. The word Holocaust in Pythagorean sums to 33 as well as 42. Zyklon B is the chemical that was said to gas the majority of Jews. Zyklon B has gematria of 33. As for Adolf Hitler, the name sums to 110 like the word president. He was supposedly born on April 20th, the 110th day of the year. 110 is a number that's always factored into these tragedies. The World Trade Centers were 110 stories tall. They were blamed on Osama bin Laden, whose name the big way equals 110 as well. Adolf Hitler, the small way, equals 56. He died a week after turning 56 in the month of April, the only month with gematria of 56. And with regards to those 33s in Zionism, Israel was recognized by as a state by the United Nations with a 33-member vote. And let us not forget that the United Nations symbol, the flat earth, is of 33 spaces. Also, the United Nations in New York is 39 floors tall. Remember how we were talking about that number in the beginning, number of books in the Old Testament. With all that 33-42 coding, Freemason equals 42, Zionism equals 42, and February, the month she supposedly died in, equals 42. The camp she supposedly died in, Bergen-Belsen, I noticed the gematria of Bergen or Bergen right away, 33. It should also be noted that February has simple English gematria of 96, like the word Freemason, like the Zionist phrase, never again. Never again. What I'm saying, Truth Seeker, is these people need to be done with, never again to repeat their propaganda and lying to humanity. The sickest gang there ever was, these Zionists. Supposedly, the diary was published by her family member Otto Frank in the year 47, the same year Israel was recognized as a state. The same time they would need a propaganda piece to justify their unjustified state. Notice the name Otto Frank is identical to Anne Frank. They both sum to 39. Again, Anne Frank has a life number of 39. The name Otto has similar numbers to the gematria of book. You see that? Otto book. This is how you make up history by the numbers. That name also sums to 16. Only the numbers 16 and 90 have a gematria of 33. A number we're talking an awful lot about. Now here's the real clincher, Truth Seeker. The diary of a young girl has Pythagorean gematria of 114, a very special number to World War II. Holocaust, World War, and Pearl Harbor all have gematria of 114. Right now, we are living in the time of the 114th Congress, and a lot is being foreshadowed for World War III. There's Anne Frank's signature, supposedly, Truth Seeker, probably forged by the same Zionist asshole who made up the story. With regards to all the 39 coding, here's Revelation 3:9. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them come and worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee. In Revelation 13:18, it says, Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. That verse has the number of the synagogue of Satan coded into it. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, has gematria of 223. And the sentence before that, here is wisdom, has gematria of 66. Again, Revelation is the 66th book of the Bible. It is my assertion that the Bible was written by this same gang for the division and conquering it has caused in this world. Everywhere religion is, there is division. And even World War II is the story of religious division. Judaism is one of the oldest faiths in the world, and you find these numbers have been coded into all spirituality: Islam, Christianity, Hinduism, Buddhism, and more. Also, with regards to counting the number of the beast, beast has gematria of 47, one of the most important numbers to the Zionists, the year Anne Frank was published, the year Israel was recognized as a state. It is the Zionists who control the media and who laugh at us. Look at this article from AP earlier this year. New research says Anne Frank likely died a month earlier. I mean, how could it be so off? This is either a real person or not. And what I'm showing here is definitive proof that Anne Frank is most definitely not a real person, and all people know about World War II are lies based on propaganda like this. Please see my other video on Spielberg and Schindler's List. The word propaganda has gematria of 93. So does the word Spielberg. He released that movie in the year 93. Oskar Schindler's full name in gematria sums to 93. These are all the signs of the coded lies that have been put upon us. Until next time, truth seeker.